the Adam. I think that's what it was. Okay. Well, I read it, I kind of skimmed it, but I was in this hurry and,
Let me tell you.
The Gun Barrel City Economic Development Corporation will meet in a regular board meeting in the Gun Barrel City Council chambers located at 1716 West Main Street, Gun Barrel City, Texas, 75156 on Wednesday, March 27th, 2019 at 5 p.m. Meeting will come to order. Please rise for the invocation.
No roll call?
Not yet.
Yeah. Good. Lord, we pray that you watch over this gathering and give this board the wisdom and intelligence to make decisions that are in the best interest of the city of Gun Barrel, Texas, and its citizens. Additionally, we ask that you watch over our first responders, our military, both veterans and active. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call from my right.
Yeah.
Joe Lawrence. Here. John Gaddis. Here.
Damiano here.
Taylor here.
Butler here.
Osborne here.
We have a quorum. Citizens' presentations are limited to 3 minutes. This item provides the opportunity for citizens to address the EDC Board of Directors on any matter, whether or not it's posted in the agenda. However, in accordance with the Texas Opens Meeting Act, Section 551.041, the EDC Board of Directors cannot discuss, deliberate, or take action on matters not listed on the agenda. At this time, the board will receive citizen comments and, if necessary, may refer the matter to EDC staff for research, resolution, or referral to the EDC board on a future agenda. Do we have any?
Mr. President, sir, it doesn't appear like we have any citizen comments,
Thank you.
but I have a few people to introduce.
Please.
Mr. John Gaddis, was sworn in 15 minutes ago as a board of directors of the Gun Barrel City Economic Development Corporation. Mr. Joe Lawrence, also a new member on the board as of tonight. And I'd like to introduce Walter Baker, who is a new, stand up, Walter, they can't see you, is the new Economic Development Associate at Gun Barrel City EDC. Thank you, sir.
And I would add that Mr. Baker comes to us with a master's degree in economic development out of southern Mississippi, correct? Not a Texas school, so I question whether it's formal education, but we'll do what we can with them. Item number 1, discuss and or take action to approve the EDC meeting minutes of February 12, 2019. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the February 12, 2019 EDC minutes.
Do we have a second?
A second.
Any discussion? Voting from my right.
Lawrence, yes. Gaddis, yes.
Damiano, yes.
Taylor, yes.
Butler, yes.
Osborne, yes.
Item passes. Item number 2, discuss or take action to approve the January and February 2019 EDC month-end financial reports. If we could go to January first, please, and take a look at the assets. Up in the checking and savings accounts, note that the prosperity account for projects went from $213,000 to $297,000, and the prosperity sales tax revenue dropped from $420,000 to $367,000. When Domino's paid off their loan, I put that money in the sales tax revenue account by mistake. I shifted it to the projects account, so that's the big difference there. We have no significant changes in assets other than that movement. On the south side, our big account, that is the Department of Agriculture Regional Economic Improvement Grant, and we are still waiting on a visit from our account officer in Canton, USDA, Yolanda. She's going to come down and visit with us and get us squared away on the accounting for that and to determine whether we can go ahead and get some more money under that program. On the second page, liabilities and equity, the only significant change is the Big Chief Landing loan went from $423,000 down to $375,000. We made that $60,000 payment. It's due in February, but actually cleared the bank on January 30th. It's about roughly $45,000 in principal reduction and $15,000 in interest. And other than that, no major changes here. On the income and expense, $76,000 in sales tax revenue. That actually represents 2 months. The accounting finally caught up with the actual payments, and we had no significant expenses at all in the month. Any questions on January? Going to February, on the asset side, no significant changes there. Sales tax revenue account went up from $367,000 to $415,000. When we talk about Techstar deposits, the Southside money market account, I think, earns 1.11%. The Prosperity account that is interest-bearing is at 0.99%. With Techstar, their January payment rate was 2.39%. So we're going to consider moving $300,000 from the Southside money market account and $300,000 from the Prosperity sales tax revenue, put $600,000 into Techstar. That will give us an increase of about 1.3%, or roughly $7,800 annualized increase in interest income. We'll discuss that when we get there. That will still leave us adequate money, and it's less than 50% of our total cash going in there. No other major changes or transactions on the assets and liabilities. On the statement of income and expense, we did fund a $5,000 facade improvement grant and the second $25,000 grant to W House for the restaurant. I'm not sure if that one was the restaurant or the other building, which is going to be consignments in fabrics. Any questions on February? Pardon? Yeah, I understand. Voting from my right?
Take a motion.
Lawrence, yes.
I'm sorry, we need a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion that we approve the January and February 2019 financials as presented.
Second.
Voting from my right?
Lawrence, yes.
Gaddis, yes.
Damiano, yes.
Taylor, yes.
Butler, yes.
Osborne, yes.
Item number 3, discuss and or take action on the Techstar amending resolution. We currently have an account with Techstar. It has roughly $3,600 in it. It has not been used in considerable time. I asked the previous treasurer, Holland Witten, why. He said we just didn't use it. I think it represents a significant increase for us in income. There is quite a difference between having the money in the bank and having the money in this Techstar plan. With the money in the bank, everything over the $250,000 FDIC insurance limit is covered by Treasury securities or agent securities that are pledged to secure the account above $250,000. With Techstar, we don't get that. This fund is a state fund that is used by counties, cities, agencies, utility districts, any municipal entities that want to put money to work in an interest-bearing mode. It currently has $8.6 billion in balance. The average maturity of the securities that are in it are 45 days. And yield recently was 2.39%, which, as I said, is about 1.35% more, about $7,800 to $8,000 a year annualized increase in interest income. Excuse me. One of the nice things about this is, for the most part, the money's sitting in Austin in this fund, and most brokerage firms or money managers, anybody that handles money, typically bundles up their wire transfers and does them all at 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. These guys wire money out every hour. So if we want money wired into our operating account at Prosperity Bank, it's about an hour away, which is nice. It's good liquidity, and we want that. I would suggest that we have 3 signers on this account. That would be me as president, as treasurer, Missy Butler as vice president, and Gary Damiano as secretary. If you go on the back of this page, you can see the makeup of what is in the fund. They have 21% of the funds are in treasury securities, 49 or 50% of the funds are in government agency securities, and 29% are in repurchase agreements. And repurchase agreements are very secure short-term investments. They're typically 45 days or less, and what happens to create them is a securities broker-dealer or a money manager with a large amount of funds that wants short-term financing sells a security to the buyer and agrees to buy it back in maybe 5 days, 30 days, 45 days at a higher price. So they're very secure transactions. And typically if a broker-dealer is doing something with a money manager and isn't comfortable with the transaction, then they will pay less, good bit less than the security, and pay more when it's time to redeem it. But they're very, very secure. The default rate is extremely low, almost nothing. It is short-term maturity. Like I said, the weighted average maturity is 45 days. What I like best about it is the liquidity feature. I still don't want to pour $1 million out of our $1.3 million in there. I'd rather keep us below 50% of our total assets. Any discussion, questions? Motion to approve?
Yeah, I move we take action on Techstar amending resolution.
Second?
Second.
Voting from my right.
Lawrence, yes.
Gaddis, yes.
Damiano, yes.
Taylor, yes.
Butler, yes.
Osborne, yes.
We will get that into them. Item number 4, take action on selling, marketing the city of Gun Barrel City. If we could, this is just some stuff. I did a presentation for the Gun Barrel chapter of the Cedar Creek Lake Chamber of Commerce and went over this stuff. I'll go a little quicker than I did with them. I'll tell you one thing I did interesting there was I asked, there were probably about 30 people in the room at Chili's. I asked how many people were born in Henderson County, Texas. 0.
Yeah.
We are all imports for the most part. About fell over when I heard that. On the second page where you see the graph, what I've got is fiscal years 2017 and 18, how much sales tax we received each month at the FDI or at the EDC level here. And we have a 2-month lag from the month that the transactions earned it and we actually get paid. So I backed it all up so that what you're seeing here is the actual month of generation of the sales tax. And if you look down at the graph, note on the horizontal axis, it begins in October, moves up significantly in December. The yellow line is 2018 versus 17, and we were up a little bit in October, November. December stayed about the same as last year. We drop precipitously in January and February. And the reason for that is everybody is broke from Christmas, period. We don't have any money to spend. And then we jump up in March. The increase from January to March is 50%. Here come the weekenders. They're getting the places. They get cabin fever from the winter. They're getting the place ready for summer. Money's being spent. And you'll see throughout the summer we stay at that higher level, peaking again in June. But there is some pretty good increase between 2017 and 18. Go back to December to January, and you see the 2 years are right on top of each other. I believe that's indicative of next to no population growth. We don't have any to speak of. We don't have any houses to buy. We don't have any apartments to rent, no townhomes, condos. Everything that we've got is pretty much full. And I've heard it expressed that let Maybank do the building, those people are going to come shop here. Well, if that was happening, we would have seen some increase here. We need housing badly. We just had a builder get a variance on 16 lots, on interior lots in Loon Bay subdivision. We've recently talked to another builder that wants to do a 12 to 15 house program, increase it more, and then there's another larger development that we think is getting very close. It's been working for about a year, but it would be a substantial number of new homes and maybe some apartments and townhomes with it. But the growth, we have $195 million in fiscal year 2018. This little town grossed $195 million in taxable sales. That's a huge number. In 2017, it was $188 million, so we increased by $7 million roughly. That gain is 3.82%. You see in the box on the top left of the graph. The CPI inflation used by Social Security is 2.8%. So basically that says of that 3.8%, 2.8 was just increased prices on the same goods that consumers purchased the year before. And if you back that out of there, your net gain is 1 point. That's your real gain. Increase in taxable sales other than inflation is 1%. I would love to see the EDC generating enough new business, helping existing businesses and bringing in new businesses, that we go somewhere in the range of 5 to 10 million a year. And that's not easy to do. New stuff takes probably a year and a half to 2 to get done and operational. Somebody's going to come in and do $1 million building. They're not going to just walk in when they think it's a great idea and do it. It's got to get on the building program and go through that whole process. The other problem we have when you look at our economy as a whole, and I don't want to sound too much like an economist, but the number of businesses we have that generate sales tax and are locally owned is minimal. I doubt that it's 10% of our sales tax recognition. So let's say take that 195 million down to 180 million that's owned outside of Gun Barrel, either franchises, corporate-owned businesses. If their bottom line is 5%, that means $9 million goes out of the economy to their home. If their bottom line is 10%, it's about $18 million. And then we look at what the banks are doing. Prosperity Bank, I'm told by the lobby services manager, has $62 million in deposits, $8 million in loans. $54 million is going to El Campo, home base, and then being loaned out to larger companies, most likely in the metropolitan areas. Southside tells me they're kind of the opposite. Their deposits are about $22 million. Loans are about $30 million, so they're bringing some money into the economy, which is nice. I don't know about First Aid Athens or the one in Walmart.
Citizens?
No, Wood Forest, yeah. Don't know. I don't think they're very active in lending, though. But we really need to try to influence local ownership of businesses, help them grow, and help them get new ones started. I'd like to have a workshop very soon after our next meeting where we can look at our leakage reports, see where money gets spent outside of Gun Barrel that could be spent here. and try to improve our targeting on businesses. We have a couple of deals working, but they're still a ways away, and they're always subject to fall apart. Now, in selling the city, if you look at the first page, how big are we from a taxable sales perspective? Our taxable sales are $195 million. From the 2010 census, per capita income is $23,000. The average number of people per household is 2.39, so total household income is $55,974. That money is not all available to be spent on taxable items. You've got rent, mortgage, probably an auto loan, most likely 1.5 automobiles per house with 2.39 people there. I don't know if that's the front of the vehicle or the back, but whatever. You got home and auto insurance, food, medical, water, and you can argue about these things till you're blue in the face, whether they're too much or too little. But anyway, that comes to a total of that $55,000, $37,000 gets spent on non-taxable items. So that means they've got, in each of these households, $19,000 available to spend on taxable items. And then we gross that up to find out how many households it would take to, with $19,000 to be spent, how many households would it take to get to that $195 million? We look like we have a population of 24,586. That isn't, actual population is 6,000, but when we're talking to these major companies, national companies, they won't even look at us for 6,000, but if they hear 24,000, they may perk up a little bit. And basically what that means is 4 times our population, so every time somebody from Gun Barrel City goes shopping, 3 people from outside of Gun Barrel City go with them. We're never alone. Right, Ron? Yeah. Okay. Any questions on that? Bam.
Yeah, one question.
One question.
What are you looking for us to do?
Nothing.
And there's nothing. Okay.
Absorb.
Absorb.
Okay. Absorb. And let's consider a workshop sometime in April for prospecting purposes. Thoughts? I wonder if we could have a local fund of investors. This city's only 50 years old. We don't have an investor class here, second and third generation that's investing in the city. Like I said in the chamber meeting, there's nobody born in Henderson County. We haven't had farms working here for 100 years that have got the third or fourth generation working them and retaining that capital and doing things with it. I wonder if we could form a pool of investors to help local small business owners that wanted to start or improve a business or whatever. Item 5, discuss or take action on Lowe's Small Business Expo. Mr. Peters.
Mr. President, Board of Directors, we have had the extreme pleasure to work with Lowe's the last couple of years on their Business Expo. They have moved it from the parking lot of their store to the city pavilion. They have increased the people who sponsor it by several, and they are getting in the 50 business category and businesses being involved in this. What has made the difference is that we have provided an increase in advertising for them so they can get the Business Expo out far and wide to allow people to come. I would like to introduce Jerry from Lowe's. Jerry has always been the person who's driven this thing, and she can either come up and talk, or if you have questions, she can answer them for you. I think this is exactly the kind of thing the EDC needs to be involved in to assist in sponsoring a small business event.
Any questions or discussion?
No, I think Lowe's has been a good friend to Gun Barrel City.
Amen.
Yes.
They've participated in every program that we've asked them to jump in and done more than what was asked.
Motion to approve?
I'll motion.
I make a motion that we approve the Lowe's Small Business Expo for $3,000.
Second?
I'll second.
Voting from my right.
Lawrence, yes.
Gaddis, yes.
Damiano, yes.
Taylor, yes.
Butler, yes.
Osborne, yes.
Motion passes.
Glad you're feeling better.
Which Arboretum? Have you reached out to the Dallas Arboretum?
No.
Okay.
I would like to know. Okay.
Just curious.
Anybody that has candidates that I can reach out to that would bring people in the community. I did talk about an idea of approximately we probably had 1,800 people at the last one. So, and we certainly am reaching for more businesses. So, we appreciate that.
Wonderful. Thank you. Item number 6, discuss and or take action on a facade improvement grant for Chicken Express in the amount of $5,000. Do we have a motion, please?
Yeah, I move that we take action on a facade improvement grant for Chicken Express in the amount of $5,000.
Second.
I'll second.
Mr. Peterson? You want
Only thing is, in your packet, you have the entire facade application grant paperwork. I am still looking for what you would like to see at the board meeting for a facade grant and not have to build the entire grant for you. So I'm looking for some advice about what you would be comfortable in seeing.
We just need that executive summary sheet, and then we wouldn't kill a tree for each one of these packets, because that executive summary goes over everything. Yeah, you got the front sheet. To me, that would be the thing, because one of us will have to sign off that it's a deal. And then the questions, the conversation can go forward, but it's absolutely a waste of paper and printing to do all
The
that.
checklist serves that purpose?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if one of us signs off and
Yeah.
we've gone through it and validated everything that's on there, what we're bringing now is just information instead of a packet of paper,
So if I have the checklist and the executive summary, you're okay?
Yeah, I don't even need the checklist for my purposes, because in the past, I've signed off on them after I've seen them. And, once Jamie and I went through this guy's proposal, because I wasn't involved in it, everything's on the good. He spent so much money in electronics and a very small amount on an actual sign that he added to his business. And so he spent $30,000. Caldwell Banker spent $40-some thousand on their facade grant for their sign, and we gave them $5,000. So there's a lot of extra monies that the people are spending, far in excess of what this grant is.
Yeah. Okay. Motion to approve?
Go ahead. I have a question once.
Question?
Yes.
Shoot.
Yeah, Lee, did we get this before they started work or after?
Absolutely before.
Absolutely before. That's
Everything was done before they began work, and everything is now complete.
okay. That's my question. Thank you very much. Okay.
Motion to approve.
I make a motion that we approve the facade grant for Chicken Express.
We already made that.
Okay. Well, he does.
Voting from my right.
Lawrence, yes. Gaddis, yes.
Damiano, yes.
Taylor, yes.
Butler, yes.
Osborne, yes.
Item number 7, discuss or take action regarding the Crappie Angler of Texas request for advertising the amount of $1,000.
Mr. President, members of the board, I apologize. J. Don Reeves, who is the driver of this program, was at our last meeting when we didn't have a meeting, and he was not able to get here this evening. He had a previous engagement. This is something the EDC has done previously. We have provided a little money for the crappie anglers. They have everything ready for our advertising, and we'll display that at every event they have, along with having us on their website. I think it's a great expenditure for us. The event will be at Tom Finley Park.
Councilwoman Rankin mentioned to me that anything that draws people here could be funded out of the hotel fund.
Yes, sir.
This would seem to fit that.
Well, my belief is that both Lowe's and this would fit that. We have always been the ones asked to fund it, and it is very difficult for us to get into the hotel-motel tax.
Yeah.
That is pretty well tied up, and I'm happy to try and do that if that's the way you direct me. Not this year, but I'd be happy to try it next year.
Yeah.
I have not done that because it's very tightly held.
Okay.
I've been doing a lot of research on the advertising for Gun Barrel City. In fact, I talked to the Texas Tourism Department today. We are not in any sort of Texas tourism book. Cedar Creek Lake, even as big as the lake is, isn't in any of the books. So I think the fact that we are one of the largest lakes in Texas, this would be good because it's going to show all the other fishermen on their tour that there is a lake here if they're not familiar with it. But I think it will also help us get into, there's a reporter that comes out and interviews the town and interviews the people, and that's how you get into the tourism book. The only thing that even mentions Cedar Creek Lake is in the brewery section of the tourism book, and the brewery in 7 Points. So I think in order to get us on the map in some of these publications, we need to do this, in my opinion.
Yep. Anything
Yeah.
else?
Yeah, this is just for general information. As Lee said, we've done this before with these folks. It's a good event. It puts heads in beds. They have a kids tournament. They have the adults tournament. It's a great little event, particularly for us shipping in $1,000. It's well worth it.
Voting for my right.
Lawrence, yes. Gaddis, yes.
Damiano, yes.
Taylor, yes.
Butler, yes.
Osborne, yes.
Motion passes. Before we start going through these programs that revised, my apologies to City Council. I think we're giving you a volume of reading that's equivalent to the New Testament. But we have a burning desire to get through this stuff and get on with the business of increasing sales tax, and we welcome your comments for revisions. Item number 8, discuss and or take action to approve the revised bylaws. Have a motion, please.
Make a motion that we approve the bylaws as presented.
I'll second.
Any discussion? And I would note that the additions to the bylaws are all highlighted in yellow. I wish we had highlighted the deletions in a different color, which would make it a little easier to read, but that's what the City Council gets paid for. Voting from my right?
Lawrence, yes. Gaddis, yes.
Damiano, yes.
Taylor, yes.
Butler, yes.
Osborne, yes.
Item 9, discuss and take action to approve the revised standing rules. Motion, please.
Make a motion that we approve the revised standing rules as presented.
I'll second. Any discussion on the standing rules? Voting from my right.
Lawrence, yes. Gaddis, yes.
Damiano, yes.
Taylor, yes.
Butler, yes.
Osborne, yes.
Item number 10, discuss or take action on the revised 2019 personnel policy. Motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the revised 2019 personnel policy as presented.
Second.
Discussion. I think the big change in this is the addition of family leave.
Correct. Yeah, the family medical leave, as you see in green here, is actually driven by legal events. Our attorney put together this dialogue, and it brings us in compliance with the terms and conditions of the Family Medical Leave Act. And that's the reason for this, that piece of it anyways. So,
Any other discussion? Voting from my right.
Lawrence, yes. Gaddis, yes.
Damiano, yes.
Taylor, yes.
Butler, yes.
Osborne, yes.
Item number 11, discuss and or take action on the revised facade improvement grant application. Motion?
Motion to accept the Boots to Business application.
Facade improvement.
Oh, I'm sorry, the facade improvement.
There you go.
Second.
Second. Discussion on all these program applications. We've tried to pare them down a bit. For instance, we ask for financial statements, balance sheet, income statement from the applicants. So we took off that information that just gets copied from that onto the application. Duplication of effort stuff we tried to take out, and I don't think any of the upcoming changes are really substantial. There is an emphasis, with the exception of facade improvement, that the grants generate increased sales tax revenue and or employment. Any other?
Mr. President, if I could, a couple of things on the facade grant that have changed, I think, for the better. We are only going to ask for 2 bids now. We have had such a horrible time with our clients trying to get the 3rd bid. It's just a nightmare. So we're going to pare that down to 2 bids, and we pared the facade grant, because we're doing so many, to 1 per year.
Any other discussion?
I have a couple of questions on this. The first page, first sentence says that it is to encourage renovation and rehabilitation of the downtown district. Is that downtown only?
No, it's anything in Gun Barrel.
Okay. The 4th sentence says, or 5th, this is a one-time distribution to each program participant per project. Does that mean they can have more than 1 project? Is there a time limit? For example, Chicken Express. Could they have gotten a $5,000 grant just for their signage and then gotten another one separate for their landscaping? They
That's
spent
the
over
way
$30
it's
grand.
been.
Sorry?
It has been that the person could have, and Lee just said that they're going to reduce it to one per year, but as we've demonstrated with several of our businesses here, they were previously allowed to do 2 grants capping at $5,000 apiece. They could be on different things. It was demonstrated by W House's first ones was parking lot was one, and then their sign would be another one. They're not, and we did them for within a calendar year. So you could come back each year and do more to your business, whether it be stone in the front, be painting, whatever.
So Joe, just for your information, they now can do 1 facade grant a year, and that facade grant will do whatever it is that they want to do. There is an exception in a place like a strip center that may have 5 businesses in that strip center. We would assist with the facade grant for each one of those separate businesses, but it needs to be a separate business.
Okay.
Anybody that's wanting to go and do these facade grants, I've done them for the last 5.5 years. I'd be more than happy. Just give me a call. I'd be more than happy to work with you and show you the ropes of how to present the program so you're not promising anything that you can't deliver. And because it's very simple. I've just done it so many times and made so many calls to these businesses. So if you're interested, John or Joe, let me know. I'll be more than happy to run through you the deal, make a call with you, whatever you want to do.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anything else on facade improvement? Voting from my right.
Lawrence, yes.
Gaddis, yes. Damiano, yes.
Taylor, yes.
Butler, yes.
Osborne, yes.
Item number 12, discuss take action to approve the revised Boots to Business application. A motion, please.
I make a motion that we approve the revised Boots to Business application as presented.
Second.
Any discussion? As revised.
I think there is a major change here. As you know, we have 1 Boots to Business application that has gone really, really bad on us. Mr. Taylor's idea was to ask the client, instead of to spend $50,000, to spend $100,000. They spend $100,000, then we reimburse them $50,000 of that $100,000, which I think is a much, much better direction than what we've had in the past. That way we will make sure that our money is useful.
Yeah, the rationale for that is if we're doing a $50,000 grant, if they spend $50,000 and then we reimburse them $50,000, they have zero investment. Mm-hmm. And we'd like to see them make full commitment and then we reimburse. Anything else there? And again, emphasis here, increased sales tax revenue and employment. Voting from my right.
Lawrence, yes. Gaddis, yes.
Damiano, yes.
Taylor, yes.
Butler, yes.
Osborne, yes.
Item number 13, discuss take action on the revised financial assistance application. Motion, please.
I move that we take action on the revised financial assistance application.
Second?
I'll second.
We have a second. Again, in this case, this is just the basic application format, and we have done some condensing and consolidation on it. Any discussion on this?
The only thing I'd like to say is this is the paper we're going to provide to everyone who comes to us for financial assistance. We are going to ask them to fill out this information, which gives us a very good snapshot of their current financials, their projections, allows us to do the background checks. So before we ever get to the point of saying what we might or might not do, we're going to have all this information in our pocket. So we can simply transfer this to the Boots to Business grant or to the redevelopment grant, but this will be the piece of paper that you see from now on when we come to a point of trying to make a project a formal project.
Voting from my right.
Lawrence, yes.
Gaddis, yes.
Damiano, yes.
Taylor, yes.
Butler, yes.
Osborne, yes.
Item 14, discuss and or take action on the redevelopment program. Motion, please.
I make a motion that we take action on the redevelopment program.
Second.
Any discussion there? I would add, this is a new program for us, and what it is designed to do is if we have empty commercial spaces and we have someone that would like to do some redevelopment of the property to operate a business there, we would provide grants up to $25,000. And we've done a couple of these under a different label, but this program is designed to cover all of that type of stuff. I am very wary of getting too detailed in what we will do, because if we forgot to mention baseboards in it and someone wanted to add baseboards, then we've got to go to City Council to get approval for them to put baseboards in. So I'm trying to, hopefully we're leaving some broad interpretation in here that the board can work on.
I might add, if you allow me to, Jim Osborne brought this project about a year ago now from a SBDC meeting we went to. This is a program that Forney has in their pocket. It's just kind of bounced around for a year now before we actually got it to the point.
Actually, Lee, everybody at that meeting that we went to in February last year with Scott, every other EDC had this program in some fashion and form, and we just did it in a different way with W House, which, by the way, let's give a shout out to W House for what he's done to that stretch of 198. I mean, it's just unbelievable. So
I'm really happy to see us looking and approving.
And our programs, on our facade programs, are lighter than almost everybody else. Maybank goes up to $12,000 on their deal, and we're at $5,000, which I'm comfortable with that. But.
Yeah. You used to keep track of how many empty storefronts we had. Are you still up on it?
No, I gave up.
It was about 52 at one time?
It was 52. When Braswell and I got on this thing 5.5 years ago, we did a count. We did not know we were doing it the same weekend. He came up with 52, and I came up with 53, or vice versa.
Yeah.
And, the whole goal was to let's promote new businesses coming in and then fix them up. And that's when the facade program came out shortly thereafter.
Okay, voting to approve from my right.
Lawrence, yes.
Gaddis, yes.
Damiano, yes.
Taylor, yes.
Butler, yes.
Osborne, yes.
Item 15, we can delete. The application for the redevelopment program is attached to that program, so it's in there already, so delete item 15. Item 16, budget amendment. Let me summarize this real quick. What we want to do, we have hired Walter Baker as the administrative assistant, and that's going to require us to increase the salary line from 120 to 130. The benefit line is a new item that would be for him to get insurance under the TML program, which the city uses. I think it's actually going to be something less than that, but $6,000 would cover it. On the budget, we had a loan to W House for $150,000. We want to reduce that to $100,000, which has already been funded, and the other $50,000 we put into projects, and that in effect used up the future projects budget of $50,000. And we want to increase future projects 100,000 to 150 because we've already used 50 for W House, so that'll leave us 100 available there. We want to add to the budget loan principal that's amortizing this year. Of all on our loans receivable, we'll receive $36,170. And next year, I believe it's about $55,000. We'll have 2 more loans through their first year of no payments and beginning to amortize. We want to increase the interest on our loans from $3,500 to $6,400. I amortized all of them, added up the interest that we'll receive for this year on them, and that more accurately reflects that. I think it was just an estimate originally on the budget. We want to increase other interest from $3,000 to $12,000. I believe that $3,000 was just an estimate as well. We had right about that in the first quarter of this year, interest income. So $12,000 is going to be more realistic, and that does not include any increase in Techstar interest with that money in there. And then our increase in temp staffing, that will go away in probably 2 weeks, but we need to, we're right up against the budget now, and we want to increase it from $15,299 to $20,000. That'll more than cover that and leave some room in the future if we have to have more temp staffing in the next 6 months before the end of the fiscal year. Can I have a motion on the budget amendment, please?
Make a motion to accept the budget amendment as presented.
I'll second.
Discussion. Voting from my right.
Lawrence, yes.
Gaddis, yes.
Damiano, yes.
Taylor, yes.
Butler, yes.
Osborne, yes.
Item 17, discuss and or take action to approve Friends on the Animal funding advertising in the amount of $2,500.
So the EDC has provided for Friends of the Animals money on a consistent basis by buying a table at their event and then the EDC board attending that event. If you were at our workshop, as Jeff explained that, it may not be completely illegal, but it's about that close from being illegal. So what we've done this year is ask them to do an ad for us. So this piece that you have in your packet will be the center of their program. So everyone who attends the event will have this ad in their pocket. We also will have a small card that I'm sorry, it'll be very much like this, that they're going to set by every place setting at the event. So not only will people know we're helping the Friends of Animals, but we're also advertising Gun Barrel City, Texas as a place to do business.
Any discussion?
I move that we take action on Friends of Animal funding advertisement in the amount of $2,500.
Second?
Second.
Voting to approve from my right, please.
Lawrence, yes.
Gaddis, yes.
Damiano, yes.
Taylor, yes.
Butler, yes.
Osborne, yes.
Mr. Peterson, update on Cedar Creek Library funding.
Quickly, we have also provided funding for the library, much in the way we have for Friends of the Animals. So this year, I asked the library if they would look at some kind of a capital purchase from us, and we would try to fund that, and then I don't want them to come back anymore for a couple or 3 years. So they have gotten together and put together some new computer purchases that they desperately need for their education and job training. It'll be about $5,100, and I'll bring that to you at the April meeting. We've got it all put together now, and it's ready to go. I just kind of wanted you to know where we're going. There's been a lot of discussion out there about us walking away from Friends of the Animals. We're not doing that at all. We're actually helping them more than we did before. We're just doing it in a different manner.
Spread the love. Okay, so no action necessary on item 18. Item 19, review the 2017-18 annual audit for discussion or take action for April 2019 regular meeting. Nothing to do tonight there.
I hope you all have one. We got spanked a little in the letter with our tremendous treasurer at this point. We've fixed almost all of those things that we got spanked for. Missy is now signing the bills where she doesn't sign checks. That was very important to them. We still haven't got Teresa off the signature card, but we're going to get that done pretty quick now that we have a full board. So just all I'm asking is that you review it. We will ask you next meeting to approve the audit.
Okay, no action needed. Item 19. Executive closed session. I'm going to table that. We'll not be having that tonight. Need a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion that we adjourn.
Second?
I'll second.
Voting from my right.
Lawrence, yes?
Gaddis, yes.
Damiano, yes.
Taylor, yes.
Butler, yes.
Meeting is adjourned.
You have a little packet at the end of your agenda. It's just stuff that comes to the office that you guys don't always get to see. So I'm going to put together this for your information and send it out to your.
Do you need our copies of all the policies for
Yes.
city council? Do you need our copies of the policies for city council, or have you made them separate?
Actually, what we really need them for is any of you that have a board book, everything in it now is obsolete.
Okay. My suggestion would be is that you pick up all of these packages because there's financials in there.
And Jamie has been kind enough to say that she would punch these if you bring your book back in.